Data Voyagers.
So, hello Data Voyagers. We're here with some great customers live from, not actually live, I keep saying live, from Lund, Sweden. We are here at the Qlik's annual meetup for ambassadors and luminaries. So I'm Igor, I'm here with Angelika, and let's introduce our guests. So let's start from Vivienne. So you'd like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I'm Vivienne Parsons, and I work for South Central Ambulance Service, which is part of the National Health Service in England.
Welcome.
Henri, thanks for being here. Could you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Henri Rufin. I'm working for Radiall, a French manufacturer for electronic components. I'm the head of data and analytics, for sure.
Great. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So Angelika, would you like to start with our first question?
So I will ask the first question to Vivienne. Vivienne, how has Qlik changed the way your organization makes a decision? And can you share an example with us?
So I think Qlik has allowed us to actually do the analytics and not just reporting. That's the big thing. So we have thousands of national submissions we have to give in every month. So it's allowed us to automate them, and then we have to get to ask the questions.
Wow.
So an example is, I guess, we have what we refer to as the gold scorecard. Runs every 20 minutes directly from all of our data feeds, but it tells people things like how many stacking calls we've got, where our vehicles are, how long they're sitting outside hospital. So that will steer the conversations and the tactical response for the day.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. Yeah. In Holland, I always watch the ambulance services of the UK. So
we have been on those. So some of them may have been ours.
And really, I'm taking my hat off and a deep bow. What you guys have to take care of.
Yes. So typically for us, we say we make patient contact every 12 seconds.
Yeah.
So we are constantly on the phone or something. So data is huge.
Yeah. Wow. Henri, can you help us to understand how your company uses Qlik and how do they make decisions?
Yes. So we started in 2018. At the time, we were like most of the company were fending off Excel dashboards, trying to compile data coming from multiple softwares, and we were not capable of really comprehending what was happening behind the scene. And then came along Qlik, and it was a huge game changer for us. Huge, because with Qlik we've managed to have just one single platform for analytics. And when I'm saying one single platform, that's all across the board for every department within the company. And it's been a huge success, and we use it for transaction dashboard as well for legacy dashboard, so things more important for the corporate. And we also have transaction applications like planning, for instance. So we use a lot of write-back in the Qlik applications as well. So now we have like 200 government application running. For 800 users, we are a 3,000 employees company, so very happy with the outcome. Qlik is very famous at Radiall. Everyone is talking about it all the time. So yes, it's been a great journey and a real pleasure working with this technology.
Can you help me to understand what the biggest success decision was in your company?
Well, it's hard to point one in particular because, like I said, we use it in every department. So, for instance, if we talk about just the budget, that's a wonderful time of the year as of now. We do everything that's budget related in Qlik, meaning that we prepare the financial inputs, but also we prepare the sales as well. And then once everything is consolidated and we've managed to reconcile all those figures using Qlik, which is a huge advantage. Then we are capable of putting out the report. So the 150 slides of the budget are being produced by Qlik Reporting as of now. So this is a huge step forward in terms of quality of information you put forward and also time saved at the end of the day. So This is just one example, but I could give you so many other examples
Great.
like this one's just that, as of now.
Yeah.
We're talking about budget.
Yeah,
But,
the new year is coming, huh?
You want to talk about inventory management. You want to talk about margin. Margin is a very famous example at Radiall. Pricing as well. Lots of different pricing application to help us tackle the prices. Production indicators as well. So lots of different examples. We even do the management of the financial closing within Qlik. So all the financial statements are generated, reconciliations, and then the consolidated statements are presented through the Qlik environment.
Wow. Great, huh?
So I would like to start with you with the next question. So it's about AI. So Qlik invested a lot in AI the last years with capabilities like Qlik Predict and Answers. How the introduction of those technologies help the way you guys do analytics?
So regarding AI, I first wanted to take a step back and be sure about what I wanted to do with this technology, because this is a huge game changer. You cannot just jump in and say, hey, I want to be the first. So it's not just about being cautious, it's about knowing what you want to do. And so what came as an evidence, what made sense to me is we needed to have trusted foundation, which is why I've been looking at QTC first, because we had a shiny front where we could put out there all the data we wanted, but we still needed to work on those pipelines to make sure they are going to hold the distance and that we are going to be able to address future use cases, growth, because we have a booming business. And so the foundation is what I'm actually focusing on to make sure that the future will be governed so that AI application will run smoothly. That is the first step for us. So you want to talk about AI, you must first talk about AI foundation, and that is data governance, data quality, data stewardships, and all of that. So that is my first step. And then, yes, knowing exactly where you want to go with that, I'm starting to see patterns where we are not going to give up on dashboards, but we need to let people interact with data in a different manner, especially when it comes to self-service. Self-service is always complicated because you need to know your way around the data and the dashboard. And obviously it's very hard to teach set analysis, data modeling, and dashboard habits. But AI can. And that's where the new MCP and all those features that we've been talking about today, they make sense. They make sense in a way that we are going to be able to bring that specific professional layer to the end users for specific self-service use cases. It's like when you first introduced the smartphone, and being a photograph is really complicated. If you don't know what you're doing, having such a camera is complicated. But when you have a smartphone, all those capabilities, they're there to make you a cameraman, so to speak. And that's a bit of the same. I'm not saying that you're going to be an absolute professional replacing anyone else, but you're going to achieve something that you couldn't do before, which is being able to quickly design a dashboard or get your answers on the fly without having to rely on complex skills that you might not have. So I don't know if I'm on the path right here.
I think this is perfect because I think it's better to step back, think before you act.
Yeah, AI has to be responsible. If you're not ready, then it's it's gonna fail.
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons most of AI projects fail.
Yeah.
Because of lack of data quality, lack of adoption. So not ready yet. So you need to before going to Mars, you need to reach the moon.
Yeah.
So a follow-up question to Vivienne is: I know in healthcare. There's extra layers of data privacy and concerns, especially in using like new technology like that. But how you guys, if you're not using yet some of these Qlik capabilities in AI, how you guys envisioning or preparing to use?
Like you say, we're all governed, so we have patient identifiable. So at the moment, we're going to start without and start with. So at the moment, like you say, the first step for us is information literacy. You have to have information literacy to be able to have a conversation. So not data literacy, they don't need to know how to do all the charts, but information literacy to be able to have an informed conversation and set out what you're going to do. For me is key because I work with clinicians. Yeah. So when we took that, we then looked at what we could do. So for AI, our first project is actually collaboration with Qlik. What we're doing is we're taking our telematics from our engines of our vehicles and we're running that through Qlik Predict. We don't have the results yet, but it's a working project. The aim is that we're going to look to see if we can predict before a vehicle breaks down. So you ask what we can do with AI that we couldn't do before, and it's this. It's the modelling and it's the risk scoring and giving us alerts. These are the things. I can do the analytics and know my business very well, but I can't do that. So when we're doing that, we're talking about taking a data feed every 10 seconds. We've got 90 sensors on our vehicles. So we're looking to say, can I tell you before the brakes go? Can I tell you that the clutch is under stress? Because at the moment we have around a 40% breakdown rate. Sounds high, but these vehicles are hammered. So if you took your personal car in a year, our vehicle would probably do 3 years worth of wear to your 1 year. Mm-hmm. So they are really... The reason behind all of this is because it costs £200,000 to put an ambulance on the road. 12 members of staff, 3-year degree. The government could give me 80 new ambulances and I couldn't put them on the road because I wouldn't have the staff. Yeah. But could I, through Predict, have a model to say that vehicle needs to come off? And if I take it off now, I say 2 days. So that is 2 shifts.
Yeah.
You know, when we're talking about this, that's one person, 12-hour shifts we're going, so we're talking big numbers. When our vehicles break down, we don't just lose the vehicle, we lose the crew. And now we can't get to the patients. So for me, a lot of people talk about budgets and sales and forecasts and everything. For me, it's not that at all. For me, it's seconds, my response times.
Yeah.
Because I have 7 minutes to get to the patient when the call comes in. Yeah. Don't have much time, so everything I can do to speed it up. So for us, that's where AI is taking us. It's these additional projects, because people say we come up with fun projects, and the reason we come up with fun projects is because they have no money. We joke, but I'm not allowed milk because we don't have the money. So where does AI take us? Takes us to things like this. It's fascinating what you can achieve.
Yeah, when limitation can drive innovation, it's like,
yeah.
And we haven't found anybody that's done this in the land fleet. The only example we've got is that Rolls-Royce do it for aircraft. So Rolls-Royce do real-time monitoring of aircraft engines with GE. Yeah. But speaking to GE, we haven't found anybody that's done this with a land fleet.
Well, actually, I did a project back in 2015 where we measured the sensors. We took the sensor data, so we could also predict when it would break down, when it needed maintenance. Yes. And that's super important, not only from a productional point of view, but from an ambulance point of view, it's life.
Yes, absolutely.
Every second counts.
Yes, there's so many use cases. People have talked to us about this, from people who build buses to mining companies to oil companies. It's anybody that's got a system and they need to be real time up. And if you don't, you either lose a lot of money, or us, we lose lives.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's always very different because I'm talking about people.
Yeah, exactly.
The money is not for me to worry about.
No, point taken. Yeah, exactly. So we have a question about adoption and culture. Mm-hmm. Technology is only one part of the story, Henri. Sorry. What did you learn about driving data adoption within your organization, and how did you overcome resistance, for example?
Well, I must say we had an advantage because I'm not an IT guy. I used to be a financial controller, So we used to have that specific relationship where you are already very close to the business and you understand the business requirements, their problems on a daily basis. This changes everything, because when I come to them and we discuss the matter at hand, we're not talking about the technology. Of course, I can talk about technology, and I love technology, and I'm a big fan of all those new features that come within the Qlik realm. But when I sit down and talk to someone from the business, we're only talking about what issues they actually tackling on a daily basis. And the thing is, as a former financial controller of that company, I'm capable of not only suggesting improvements, I'm also capable of providing projects and ideas on how to do things differently. So we have their trust, and it's always about trust. It's trust about data, it's trust about the people who actually pull off the dashboard. So in a way, being in a continuous improvement where you're always trying to provide a new dashboard, a new solution, a new response to a problem, helps you gain that trust. I'm in a constant state of POC, so to speak. So it's like there is a problem, and we start by looking at the data, building a quick pipeline, even if it needs to be refined afterwards, trying to reach the end to see that we can provide an answer very fast to the market. And then it's time to respond and see, okay, this is the dashboard, this is what the data we have, and those are the problems we need to fix to make it work for you. And maybe there are some things you need to address as well, because data quality isn't good, or we need to discuss some aspect of the process itself. So the fact that we are this concrete and this quick and this specific for the problem at end, user adoption has never been a question. We have user adoption right from the start, because we're fast and we work together. So obviously people, they're very happy, and sometimes the answer comes within a day. So people are just blown away that you can be that fast. Sometimes it's a bit more complicated, and then you sit down with them and you tell them why it's complicated. And yes, there is a problem with the data at the source, or the data pipeline is a bit more complicated, and they understand, because you already have their trust. You've been building dashboard for them for many years, and they love the product, they love the job you're doing, they do understand. So it's just about governing your project backlog, setting the priorities. That's the tricky part, because you need to make sure that people is around the same table to say, okay, we're going to start with this and this and this. And sometimes you have to squish a bit some of those urgent improvements, correction to make it to the finish line. But aside from this, it's actually quite easy going, just because of the method and the relationship.
Cool. And for...
I think mine's probably a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I think so, because we had some conversation earlier.
Yes. So for me, I work a lot with clinicians, and clinicians are very different people. I find clinicians, certainly mine guys, so we're talking about paramedics, they are very good at a tactical response, the here and the now, and what do I need to do with. But that's their job. They're not so good at strategic thinking. That's not their forte. Trust them with my life to fix me, not with so much. So for us, it is, how do we talk the same language? We relate everything to food, because that works. So we have donuts and smarty plots, and the latest one is the burnt toast. So your heat map is your burnt toast. Your gauges and things have become your donuts and scatterplots, smarties. But it doesn't actually matter what you call them as long as they engage. So this is where we went back to information literacy, because we have to learn how to talk the same language to get the projects. Otherwise, we'll never get buy-in, because we're talking two different purposes. So what we talked about was this wonderful study that Harvard University did. Yeah. And it was great for us because it's medical. And it was all about bias, because I deal a lot with bias. So I say, your on-scene time's gone up, You need to have a look at it. And I'm talking 2 minutes, but 2 minutes to us is massive. And they'll go, oh, but it's not me. So they're already preconditioned to say, it's not me, it's something else. So this wonderful study at Harvard took an X-ray of lungs.
Yeah.
And they gave it to loads of the clinicians. And they asked them to look at this picture and diagnose it. They didn't say anything. They just gave them the image and asked them to give the diagnosis. And they did. What they didn't tell them, there was a picture of a gorilla in the picture.
Yeah.
And how many people didn't notice the picture of the gorilla? Not because they're bad radiographers, but they haven't been trained to look for a gorilla in lungs. That was the issue.
Yeah.
So it's the same as my guys. They are very good medically, clinically, but give them data and they may miss the obvious.
The box.
The box.
The box.
So you have to figure out how to talk the same language, hence the food.
Yeah.
Because if it works, it doesn't matter, and I'm not precious about calling it scatter plots and tree diagrams. If it doesn't work for them, it doesn't work for any of us. So yeah, it's the adoption, it's trying to work things out.
Yeah.
Failing than that, I give them free pens from Qlik and, things like that, and it always works.
Cool.
Great. So yeah, donuts is interesting because when I had like training customers and like having like adoption receptions, usually when you bring the donuts and like food, they usually come.
Yeah. Exactly.
If it works.
But yeah, it's all about the storytelling, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, one final question, and let me ask with you. So let's say you could ask, you have a genius lamp and you can ask Qlik to solve any problem that you have for the next year. What would that be?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think at the moment we're going through a strategy where we've got 2 years left on our contract. So we're reviewing it. And I think it would be something to give us that information about why not Power BI. And I know you probably want me to say it's this feature or that feature, but the features are brilliant. What we've just seen downstairs,
Yeah.
I have no issues with their roadmap and their development. But they don't necessarily sell themselves the best. So it would be, for me, how they sell themselves publicly. And I know that probably seems a bit of a strange answer.
No.
But I struggle because the ICT colleagues, they'll all be used to a Microsoft environment. So very quickly for them, it's, well, let's just go Power BI. So it's having that insight, the ability to explain why. Why Qlik? I know why. For me, it's the added extras you get. Qlik, unlike some of the other things, it's not just a product. It's an ecosystem. So you get the vendors, the third parties, you get the supported, you get the managed services providers, you get them to involve you in projects. I don't get that with any other system. But it's very hard for me to explain that to the business because it's not tangible.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no pound signs attached to it.
I experienced the same situation in an organization where I do my projects now, that I don't get that much support from the vendor that is
Yes.
responsible, like I get with Qlik. When I have a question, when I need something, it's there,
Yes.
always.
Yes,
Yeah.
I always say what sets Qlik apart from all of the other vendors is this.
Yeah.
Why we're here this week, it's the fact that I can email out and ask for help. I can speak to R&D.
Yeah.
They'll get involved in projects. They'll say, well, we'll give you that product, give it a go. You're never going to get that with anybody else, but that's really hard to sell
Not at all, yeah.
Yeah,
to an exec
exactly.
who's got a preconceived bias to Power BI. Because we all know Microsoft, and it's free
Of course.
until
Yeah.
it's not.
Until it's not.
free like a puppy
Yes,
is free.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
free like a puppy is free.
The personal edition is free with your license, but the enterprise version isn't free. And I think that's what people mistake. They see the product that you can use Power BI, therefore that is the whole ecosystem, and it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Exactly.
that's the difference.
And
And that's the same as any software, so it's not unique to them. It's just my experience, and I think it's differentiating the personal from enterprise. And I don't think people understand, unless you're in the organisation or in the business, that enterprise is what you have. So it doesn't matter what you can do over here.
Yeah.
And that's they're all, got a budget assigned to them, but for me, it's the added extras.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's interesting that we, as a part, we got this kind of feedback from a few customers, and then I said, okay, that's an honest question. Let me try to give you an unbiased answer. And so I did this study that later on I published as a white paper, comparing not in terms of feature, but in terms of cost and time to implement functionalities, Qlik and Power BI. And instead of doing it myself, because it would be, of course, biased, I went and quoted, I created like a fake company. I have like real customer requirements, that we real customer, like which is very typical, like number of dashboards and applications, all of that, different where the data comes from. And I quoted with different, like 12 different Power BI consultant companies, and I quoted with Qlik consultant companies, and I compare, and it's incredible the difference. Power BI is way more expensive,
Yes.
especially after you won. And it takes way more time to implement it, because then you need Fabric, and then you do this, and you're paying for computing, and you're paying for that, and you're paying for storage, you're paying for, and then you add up. It's just like it's free. It's like a puppy is free. Then the actual cost comes after.
That's exactly how we got bitten.
Yeah.
We used Power BI, not Power BI. We used their version of Writeback during COVID, which was great. But then they said, well, that was great, but now we need to charge you for it. And we went, but we've already got it. And they went, but no, but you need the server and you need this. And we said, well, we just can't afford that. So we had to back out. So we spoke to Qlik, and they put us in touch with Infinity. And we used the Infinity platform to do our Writeback extensions.
Yep.
And again, like Qlik, they were very happy to engage in your projects and how can I improve the system and what do you need to do.
Yep.
And again, it's not necessarily products, it's everything that comes
the
with it.
ecosystem.
Yes.
People, and yeah.
So for
Exactly.
me, they need to sell that ecosystem to allow me to stay on the platform.
Yeah,
So I need
exactly.
them to be better
Yeah.
at promoting what they're really good at.
Okay.
And
That's a
Henri,
fair point.
It's funny that you said my answers might seem weird, but I thought the exact same thing. It was exactly the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, I wish people could forget about Power BI and Excel for just a minute.
Yes.
Forgetting about just, using a Qlik dashboard to extract that data outside and do something else. I had a typical case like that last week, where two people from my team based in India, they've got this request from our head of sales in France, and they took the data from a CRM report in Qlik. They downloaded that data to do a dashboard. So they first started in Excel, and they said, we don't have what we need. We need Power BI license to set up the dashboard. So they were extracting the data from Qlik to build up a dashboard in Power BI. And this came back to me because as an head of analytics, I get to say whether we buy licenses or not. I was like, what the fresh hell is this?
somehow exploded.
So, and this is, this is remarkable, but it tells you a very simple story. It's not the features, it's not the capabilities, it's the market momentum. So we could be discussing all day why Qlik is so much more powerful than Qlik. You cannot face market momentum, because market momentum is what makes people use a product rather than another one. We know for sure, for many reasons. And again, we could spend hours just debating why Qlik is better.
It's the bias, isn't it? You are,
Yeah.
because of how much you've used Microsoft, and we've probably used it since whenever, the lovely days of,
Yeah, 3.1 Windows, 3.1,
Absolutely.
3.11, and the
So-
WordPerfect.
So it
Yeah.
becomes a bit like other brands, and you're preconditioned with a brand. So it's almost like my thing with the radiographers. You'll have Qlik somewhere in there. You won't see it because you're preconditioned to see Microsoft.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, software is software. You could probably, developers can move companies. You build software. They all come as an empty box, regardless of what your company thinks is going to happen when you plug this in. They're all an empty box. It's what you do with it that makes the difference, which is why, for me, if you consider that empty box, the ecosystem is so much more important. Because if I've got an empty box and no ecosystem and no support, I've still just got an empty box.
Yeah.
But if I've got an empty box over here with an ecosystem around it, the box is going to be filled far quicker and probably far better because I've got so much feeding into it.
Mm.
That's the difference. And that's what's not seen. Because, like you say, you're preconditioned
for sure.
to a brand.
Every new person who joins the company, you have like a 90% chance that person will require Power BI or will ask why you have Qlik rather than Power BI. And might not be exactly the same figures depending on the country, but in France that's the case. Most people, they just know Power BI. What can you do against that? So for sure, then you show them what you've done with the platform and jaw drops.
Yes.
They don't even think for a second that it's possible. Then you say not with
Yes.
Power BI for sure.
Yes. I had an example of that recently.
Yeah.
So
All the
when my lovely colleague told me that he'd been to our neighbouring ambulance service, which we've got a collaboration with, and said, I want to take you because they've got this lovely scorecard and it's amazing and it's brilliant. So he drove me to the middle of nowhere to show me this amazing thing. And we sat there. They've got Power BI, brought it up. I looked distinctly unimpressed. And we were talking, and I said, that's fine. It's really interesting what you've got. Let me show you what we've got as a comparison. Showed them. And the person from the other company said, yours is so much better than ours. We don't have the capability to deliver you what you've got, which was really good. And then when I got back in the car, my colleague said, I'm really sorry, I don't know why I thought that was good. But it's because he hadn't accepted what we had until he'd seen them side by side.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you've taken me on a 5-hour round trip to show me something that you now don't think is very good. But for me, it was worth it because he finally saw that actually, side by side, ours was better.
Yeah. Not
There we
always the neighbor's grass is greener, right?
Yeah.
Not always.
Not always, yeah.
Because I'm starting to see some people at Radiall come to me and, they go outside as well. They do meetings and meet with people and they start noticing that they don't have in other companies what we've built with the Qlik platform. And some of them say, now I don't feel like moving anymore because I'm afraid of going back to something I will not be capable of doing anymore. Like going back to Excel or having those tedious reports coming from multiple platforms which do not render the same KPI value or the difficulty of interacting with the data. And that is for me the real value of what we do. This is where I think, okay, I think we've done a great job with this technology, because when people start saying that, it means that you're somewhere.
That you did something
you
good.
did something good, yeah.
With your team.
And that's not just us. I know this is something I hear from other.
Yeah, well, I
Qlik
have your two
customers.
stories here, and you both actually do the same, not in the same type of companies,
we've
but
hired
the same.
people,
Yeah. So I think it's amazing to hear your stories and the struggles that I also had when I was working for the government in the Netherlands, where we had also Qlik dashboards. The struggle to compete against Cognos or business objects
There's no
and so
competition
on.
there.
It's no competition anymore. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Thank you
That
so
was
much
great.
for your time.
Yes, okay.
It took a little bit longer than 15 minutes, what I thought, but I really love this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
My pleasure.
Data